Hey guys, I'm Sebastian. Today the topic is going to be how to get your movement back, how to get your mobility back after having a back condition, especially a lumbar disc injury. Now the reason why this is important is because a lot of times to actually get that disc to repair itself, we need to resist the movement of flexion, okay? So I'm going to say it again. A lot of times we'll have to resist the movement of flexion or rounding, but what we don't want is we don't actually want us or our patients to really resist extension or resist flexion for the rest of their life, because it's not evil. It just is not right for that person at that time. And also I would say probably under load, I would not put the person in a rounded position. But it's certainly important to have some flexion and movement of the spine right there as well. So how do we get that back? First off, we have to consider the possibility that we have to test to see if the disc is actually an active disc or not. If the disc is responding like a disc, it's responding actively, then we can't really add it too much yet. With the caveat there might be a possibility of a small flare-up. So I tend to take the people through the point where they can actually get through all these tests that are typically very provocative and challenging for a disc, and then we find that they're all negative and we start to add in flexion slowly. I'm going to go over a couple different exercises that I like to add to safely get some of the flexion back. They're unloaded ones. The first one is frog breathing, I like to call it, because I like to think about if you're a tree frog here. I'm going to do it for you. If you're a tree frog here and you're just hovering, you're just on the side of this tree right here, okay? If you breathe from anything but this area of your body, you're probably going to get eaten pretty quickly, okay? You don't want to be a tree frog that does a lot of this stuff going on, okay, when you're breathing. So the way this functions, actually I'll do it first with you. So I like to drive the hands in and elbows, feet drilled in as well, and just rock back. You don't want to go into an aggressive round, but you want to add a little bit around. And then breathe in. You can feel a lot of times right here, their pants are going to actually give some feedback. So you want to add some of that as feedback and try to expand it from all sides. It's a really, really easy way to do it. So I'm going to do a couple breaths. You can also pattern a squat in this position as well, which is a thing for another day. But here's the mechanics of what we're doing here. Is we need to add the flexion back some because the intervertebral foramen, those holes right there, they have to be able to expand a little bit because we have the nerve roots coming out of them, right? So if you crush those nerve roots, then you also decrease slide into the leg as well as relative slide into the spine or the spinal cord. So you got to get those things moving through there, and we have to add a little bit of opening. Now what happens here is as you have this abdominal cavity which is full of water, as it starts to expand, it'll actually gap those things in the back right there. Not aggressively, but just through normal breathing pattern. So again, watch this one more time. Imagine a water balloon right here and it's just blowing up, but it's blowing up from all sides. So that's the first thing. I like to start with breathing first and foremost, mainly because it's a very easy thing for people to do. They have to do it anyways. They might as well take a little bit of a break in their day and open those intervertebral foramen as soon as the discs are ready for it. Next is your standard Cat Camel or Cat Cow or Cow or whatever the heck it is. But I like to, it's a non-weighted variety of moving the spine. So just like the bird dog exercise, I like to drill all the points in, even the toes. And then you push up and just make sure you have this as a proper set point. You shouldn't be sloppy and slouching through and so on. So as you start to push through, some people with disc injuries or past disc injuries are going to be very resistant of adding this flexion in. So just make sure you're careful and only go to a certain point of comfort and then bring them back through. A lot of times they're going to feel some tightness back here because their erector group or the muscles on the sides of their spine are going to be so protective because they've been in extension so long that it's almost going to feel like a good stretch to them, but we don't want to go too far too quick. I tend to give these every day or every other day, depending on the person's tolerance level. It's totally your call. Every person is different. Remember, N=1. If you guys like this, feel free to reach out to me. I'm attempting to do these a lot more often. We do have a YouTube channel, as you're probably seeing this one on here as well. The correlative videos on the side. We do have a podcast that we are catering more towards clinicians now to use as tools to learn continuing education, but also to break down the easy topics for their patients. I have the same problems as probably you guys do. I have patients that ask a lot of the same questions over and over again, and although it seems like it's, I don't want to say it's a burden, it's also very incomplete when you're shuffling between other patients. You just don't have time to completely answer that question that they have. So I've done these podcasts so that they are pretty comprehensive topics surrounding things just like this, so you don't have to spend a ton of time. They already walk in with an understanding. Talk to you guys soon. Thumbs up the video, thumbs it up right now. Please share. Talk to you guys later.